The alpha's silence. One petty mistake changed everything. It was a mistake, a small, insignificant error that I thought would blow over. But now, as I sit on the cold edge of our bed, staring at the dark hallway that leads to Sebastian's office, it feels like the universe is punishing me for something much greater. Sebastian, my alpha husband, hasn't spoken to me since the pack meeting earlier this evening. It's been hours, and his silence has become unbearable. He's never been this cold, never kept this much distance between us, and the longer it drags on, the more I feel like I'm suffocating under the weight of my regret. I stare at my reflection in the mirror, my eyes red and swollen from crying. My heart aches, and 1,000 thoughts race through my mind, each one more painful than the last. I don't understand how everything unraveled so quickly, how something so small, so trivial could make him pull away from me like this. It started earlier today, when I lost track of time while running errands. I had promised to help prepare for the pack meeting, one of the most important monthly gatherings where Sebastian addressed the pack, reinforced alliances, and dealt with disputes. As the Luna, I was expected to stand beside him, representing not just myself, but him, our union, and the strength of our leadership. But by the time I realized how late I was, the meeting had already ended. I rushed to the pack house, my heart pounding in my chest, hoping to explain myself before things escalated. But as I stepped through the door, I could feel the weight of their gazes, dozens of eyes burning into me as the pack members whispered among themselves. Sebastian stood at the front of the room, his back straight, his expression hard as stone. The moment our eyes met, I knew I had let him down in a way I couldn't easily fix. I had never seen him look at me like that before, like I was a disappointment. And in front of everyone, no less. His strong jaw clenched, his gray eyes turned cold, and without a word, he walked past me, leaving the pack house and me standing alone in the middle of a storm of judgment. Now, hours later, I'm trying to muster the courage to approach him, to bridge the gap that has grown between us. I know Sebastian. He's intense, protective, and sometimes ruthless, but he's never been like this with me. Not to the point where he rejects my touch, my presence. There's always been passion between us, even in our worst arguments. But tonight, the silence is deafening, and I can't take it anymore. I take a deep breath, standing up from the bed and walking toward his office. My bare feet barely make a sound against the hardwood floors as I approach the closed door. I pause, my hand hovering over the handle, nerves twisting my stomach into knots. What if he pushes me away again? What if this mistake has damaged something between us that I can't repair? Shaking the thoughts away, I open the door just enough to peek inside. Sebastian is sitting at his large wooden desk, his back to me, his broad shoulders tense. The glow from his computer screen casts a shadow over the room, highlighting the hard lines of his muscles under his shirt. He's always been physically imposing, an alpha in every sense of the word, but right now the emotional distance between us feels more threatening than his strength. "Sebastian," I whisper, stepping inside. He doesn't respond. His fingers tighten around the edge of his desk, and for a moment, I think he didn't hear me. But I know better. He's an alpha, with heightened senses that could pick up the slightest sound, the faintest scent. He's ignoring me. I walk closer, my breath shaky as I fight back the tears threatening to spill. Reaching out, I gently place my hand on his shoulder, hoping the physical touch will break the ice between us. I need to feel him, to connect with him in the way we always have. But as soon as my fingers brush his skin, he flinches. "Don't," he growls, his voice low and dangerous. I pull my hand back, my heart sinking. "Sebastian, please," I plead, my voice barely above a whisper. "I'm sorry, I lost track of time. It was just a mistake, I swear." His chair creaks as he stands up abruptly, towering over me. He's not looking at me. Not really. His eyes are distant, his face hard with anger and disappointment. "A mistake?" His voice is sharp, filled with barely controlled rage. "Do you know what you've done?" I swallow hard, my throat dry. "I know I missed the meeting, but..." This isn't just about missing a meeting, Alana. He cuts me off, his tone icy. You're my mate, the Luna of this pack. Your presence matters. Your actions reflect on me, on my leadership. You made me look weak. I gasp, his words hitting me like a slap to the face. Weak? Sebastian weak? The thought is absurd. He's the strongest person I know, a leader who commands respect and loyalty from everyone around him. How could my absence make him look weak? I didn't mean to, I whisper, my voice trembling. I would never do anything to make you look bad. I love you, Sebastian. I would never. Love? He scoffs, cutting me off again. Love isn't enough, Alana. Not when you can't even fulfill your responsibilities. His words sting like venom, each one driving deeper into my heart. I blink back the tears that are threatening to spill over, trying to stay composed. But it's hard, so hard, when the man I love, the man who is supposed to love me, is standing here, tearing me down. I made a mistake, I repeat, my voice shaking. It won't happen again, I promise. Sebastian doesn't respond right away. Instead, he turns and walks to the window, staring out into the night. His shoulders are rigid, his posture tense, and I can feel the frustration radiating off him in waves. I need time, he says finally, his voice quieter now but no less cold. I can't deal with this right now. His words cut through me like a knife. I feel my breath hitch in my throat as the rejection sinks in. Sebastian isn't just angry, he's distancing himself from me, from us, and I don't know how to fix it. I want to argue, to fight for him, for us, but deep down, I know there's no point. When Sebastian is like this, when he's cold and distant, there's no reasoning with him. He needs time to process, to calm down, but that doesn't make the pain any easier to bear. Fine, I whisper, barely able to get the word out. I turn and walk out of the room, my heart heavy with the weight of his rejection. The walk back to our bedroom feels longer than it should. The silence of the house is suffocating, and when I finally crawl back into bed, the emptiness beside me feels like a physical presence, mocking me. I reach out to the cold sheets where Sebastian should be, but all I feel is the sting of loneliness. I can't sleep. My mind races with thoughts of what went wrong, of how I could have done things differently. Was this really all because I missed one meeting? It seems so petty, so small in the grand scheme of things. But to Sebastian, it's much more. It's a matter of pride, of power. And I've wounded that pride, even if I didn't mean to. Hours pass, and still, I can't bring myself to close my eyes. Every time I think about Sebastian, about the look in his eyes, the anger in his voice, I feel a fresh wave of guilt wash over me. I never wanted to hurt him, never wanted to make him feel like I wasn't supporting him. But here we are, and now I'm left wondering if we'll ever be able to move past this. By the time the first rays of sunlight filter through the curtains, I'm exhausted, both physically and emotionally. I've spent the entire night replaying the events of yesterday, trying to figure out how everything went so wrong. And now, as I sit on the edge of the bed, staring at the empty space beside me, I realize that something has to change. I can't keep living like this, in this limbo, waiting for Sebastian to forgive me. I need to fix this. I need to make him see that I'm still the woman he fell in love with, the woman who would stand by his side no matter what. But first, I have to face him again. And that thought fills me with both hope and dread. Alana thought missing a single pack meeting was a small, forgivable mistake. But for her alpha husband, Sebastian, it was a blow to his pride and leadership. Now, caught in the icy grip of his silence and rejection, Alana struggles to mend the deep divide between them. As her touch is refused and Sebastian distances himself further, she realizes that one minor misstep has caused devastating consequences for their bond. Can she find a way back to his heart, or has this one mistake cost her everything?